Hi, welcome to my build of a Piper Cub J3. Today I've started preparing some of the components that I'm going to need. If you saw the first video, you'll see there was a really good CAD drawing of all the components, and I've been cutting these out and gluing them onto either 3mm pliers here, or I've done some on some 2mm balsa wood as well. I've been getting the wing components first because I'm going to build both sides of the wings, join them together first. So I need things like these plywood wing tips and the joiners. But also, because I've got this nice piece of 3mm ply here, I decided to put on some of the fuselage formers as well. I'll probably just roughly cut those out when I'm doing the wing pieces, but the wing pieces I'll actually finish, and I'll leave the fuselage pieces until I get onto those. So once I've been cutting out the individual components, I've just been using just a water-based glue that doesn't stick particularly well. I experimented with a few different glues to try and find one that didn't stick really well, but it stuck well enough to allow me to do the cutting, but then would allow me to peel the paper off. That was successful to some degree. This is a 6mm piece of balsa here that I cut out a wing piece for, and you can see it's left some of the paper on. So I'm just pasting on the back as little as possible and sticking them onto the 3mm ply. As little paste as possible, because I don't really want to wet my piece of ply too much and end up with it sort of warping. If you've seen a previous build of mine on a Piper Cherokee, I rave about these steel blocks I've got. They're so useful for holding things in place, and today I'm using them just to put on the corners of my ply while it dries, to make sure it doesn't curl up with the damp that's gone on with the glue. The actual ribs themselves, I've decided to, I made some plywood, 3mm plywood formers for each side. I've bolted those together, and I'm making the ribs in between. So hopefully I should get, once I've sanded these to profile, I've done the underside, or at least the back edge of the underside, still got the front to do a little bit, but hopefully once this has all been shaped to size, I should end up with 16, I think it is, identical ribs. So we'll see how that goes. So that's about it for the moment. Just got all these bits to cut out and prepare, and we'll see how that goes in a bit. Okay, well, I'm starting to pull all the pieces together now for this left-hand wing, and I'm almost there. I've got the bits for the wing tip, which I've put here. I'm starting to build everything up just sort of dry, just to make sure I know where everything goes, everything fits, and I'm not missing anything. I don't want to get to the build and find out, whoops, where's that bit gone? So I've done the wing ribs to shape now using this sandwich method. There's the spruce spars that go in the top and bottom to give it some strength. I've cut out the balsa, or I've cut down at the side of where these spars go, and I won't nick out that last bit of balsa until I separate the sandwich, and I'll just use a scalpel and take them out individually. So those are looking all nice now, nice to be all the same shape. These are the Spruce Spires, 2 3mm, 2 6mm. It actually was specified on the plans 5mm and 6mm, but I couldn't get 5mm by 6mm, so I've just stepped it up a little bit. Got the leading edge here and the sub-trailing edge. I've marked out where cuts need to be made just to insert the tips of the ribs. I marked this one first. Initially I've done the left hand side of each rib. Then this is 8mm square. Then with the 10mm sub-trailing edge, I marked the left hand side of the very first rib, and then I put the 8mm on some 2mm balsa and then put it next to the 10mm just so they were the same height. Used my set square and just made sure that they were all lined up. So now I've got exactly the same spacing. You could get to the case, I guess, where if you marked them separately you might start to move out a little bit. Now I'm going to cut the slots for the ends of the rib. Those are going to be 2mm deep, so I've got a piece of 6mm spruce, and I'm just going to cut down until I hit the spruce, and then I'll know to stop. Once I've done a single cut for all of these, I'll go back and I'll put an extra cut in to give me the slot. I found that just once you've done that cut, if you just give the saw a little bit of a kick over, it just lifts that bit of balsa out. Obviously you don't want to bend your saw, but this is a 42 teeth per inch saw. It's nice and fine. And I found just doing it by eye, I've done a few practice pieces to try and get the right size slot, and I found doing it by eye I was getting better slots than if I tried measuring it and cutting it. I ended up with slots a little bit too big. So I'll get these slots done now, and then we're almost there. We've got these wingtips here, which will need to go on, and but these get sanded up first. But yeah, almost all these wingtip elements that will go on there. But yeah, we're almost there, and then we can get on with the build. Okay, so I'm doing the initial cut. Just hear it change in tone as it hits the spruce, and then I judge the distance. There we go. Do another one. Oops, forgot to kick that over. Just kick that over a little bit just to loosen the balsa, and then that should just pick out with a sharp scalpel. There we go, and there we have our joint. Nice and easy.